You.
Good morning, fans of the new network. As you hear, my voice is a little off today, but we are so excited about our guest. I'm going to push through it. We have Paul Martin. Paul is a bassist for Develskin, but he has also worked on other great bands and sometimes still does. World War IV, Knightshade, and Blackjack. So, Paul, we are excited about having you as a guest on the show today.
Thank you so much. It's a real privilege to be here, and thanks for your time.
So, how did you get started in music?
I was probably about 5 years old, and I heard Louis Armstrong on the radio, and it just my parents told me I just changed after that, and just wanted to get myself a trumpet, and ended up doing that like in my early teens, and I got quite good at trumpet. And then my dad used to move around a lot. He was a postmaster, so we went I shifted and went to another school where they didn't have an orchestra. All they had was like cricket or the cane, and I didn't like cricket, and they had no music thing. So ended up jumping in, falling in with the wrong bunch of guys, and discovering punk rock and heavy metal, and picked up a bass back then. And yeah, that's me ever since, pretty much. Like, I've always felt a good connection with really cool songs. The youngest of four, my siblings were listening to Led Zeppelin, Uriah Heep, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple. So all this sort of fermented in my young growing brain and just made me want to be a musician.
So, at what point did you decide to dedicate your life to being a musician?
There wasn't one point where I decided to dedicate my life. I just found out that I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed doing day jobs, and
Yeah.
a whole bunch of different jobs. And always just band life was always more important to me, and that was where I just focused. So
So, how did your time in bands like Nightshade, Blackjack, World War IV, how do they contribute to your success in Devilskin?
quite a lot, I think. The first band, Nightshade, it was actually my second band. I was living in Wellington, at the bottom of the North Island here in New Zealand, and saw this poster for a band playing in town that looked heavy metal. So my whole band went along, and it was like, oh, these guys were good. Like, we were doing Michael Schenker, Black Sabbath,
Hmm.
Scorpion songs pretty badly, our band. But watching Nightshade was just wow. It was a huge moment. And then I got friendly with the guys and ended up being asked to join the band. Not quite the rock star scenario from the movie or anything, but kind of similar. I went from being in the front row at their gigs to playing on stage,
Nice.
and I learned a lot because I was the youngest in the band, and that all been around a lot before. And it was a lot of schooling, a lot of really cool stuff, like, don't make a mess, don't leave a mess. You want to get invited back to the venue, don't wreck it. Just stuff like that growing up, and having a healthy respect for everyone else in the industry. A lot of that was taught in those early years, and I've carried it through till now.
The nice thing with the music industry is you've been on both sides with your show Axe
Yeah.
Attack. So obviously you have definitely a great perspective from that. But the thing I think is interesting is how you put your band together, Devilskin, through the record station.
Well, I mean, I got interviewed when I was in Nightshade. I got interviewed on a heavy metal show that had just started on student radio here in Hamilton. And the DJ and myself got on so well that he invited me to co-host the show with him. Then I ended up taking over. He left town and stuff. So that was back in 1987. So it ended up being the longest running um, show in New Zealand broadcasting history at 33 years. And then COVID came and sort of put an end to it. But it honestly didn't do Develskin any favors, me working in the radio industry, because one, the radio station I was working for didn't take it serious enough. Oh, it's the guy who does the metal show. He's got a new song for us to listen to. We'll listen to that later.
Hmm.
And the other big rock station wouldn't play us because I worked for their opposition. So it was a little bit of a handicap, and for the first couple of years. But yeah, it's all worked out well now. I think the music does the talking. Like, politics is one thing in radio, and it's pretty sad when there's only really two stations here in New Zealand, or three to listen to.
I know what you
But
mean. There needs to be more options.
yeah, but music saves the day in the end. Even the big rock station that ended up championing us, they heard our first song and went, oh, it's not really a single. It's not really the sort of stuff our listeners would like, but let's give it a go, shall we, mate? And it ended up being number two on their 500 countdown a year later or so. And so for us, it feels like the success that we've had from radio is built up organically from the listeners actually bugging the radio stations and demanding that they play us. So it's a really cool feeling.
Awesome. That's great when you have such fan support that it helps build the band up. But the other
100%.
part I was saying about with the radio station is that is how you met your lead singer.
Yeah, exactly, Jenny. So I was doing this heavy metal show once a week called the Axe Attack, and I'd get sent bundles of CDs, all sorts of music from all over the place, cassettes, all sorts of things. And this one package turned up from this band called Slipping Tongue, and it just looked a bit, it was broken, the covers was broken, it was scribbled, and it just looked a bit messy. And I thought, I'll listen to that later. And it was probably about a week later, I thought, oh, I feel a bit guilty. I should put this on, but I'm not expecting much. And when it started, the recording itself was pretty bad. And then this vocal came in and it just gave me goosebumps. And it was 16-year-old Jenny. And I shouldn't have put the song on air, but I did. And they got energized and ended up putting out a few EPs and an album. And what a great band. I was like their biggest champion. I just thought she was spectacular. I never ever dreamed I'd get to play in a band with her. And it was years later that when Slipping Tongue had broken up, I just said, "Hey, what are you doing? Do you want to jam, put something together?" She goes, "Oh, not really, not really. Kind of a bit burnt by it all, but as long as we don't sort of tour or do too much or get out of town, I don't want to do anything like that." So I'm like, sure, let's just have a jam, see what happens. So that first jam night, we ended up writing three of our biggest songs just
Nice.
there on the spot. So it all felt like it was meant to be. And then it's a couple of years later, Jenny and my brother-in-law hook up. So she's now my
Hmm.
sister-in-law, and Nick, our drummer's my son.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a nice tight little unit.
And I say this tongue in cheek, Nick is your twin, so
No, that's Nail.
Oh, Nail, that's what I meant to say. Nail's your twin. Yeah,
Yeah, the evil twin. So we're not related, but it's funny because everyone goes, he goes twins or something. I've got 10 years on.
exactly.
That's a
Uh,
giggle.
it's all good. But yeah, definitely. I was going to say with the name Develskin, you wouldn't think you would be a family band, but you certainly definitely qualify for that with like you said, she's your sister-in-law, he's your son, and then the
Yeah,
other fella, Nail, has been like a part of the family. So I mean, that is phenomenal.
yeah,
What do
100%.
you attribute your consistency and your durability as a band to?
Um, it's a hard one. I'd like to say great songs. I think we write good songs, and I think songs are the most important aspect of anything with music. It's like it's the way you communicate. And if you can just strike a chord with some people and a subject matter or whatever, yeah, we write about real things. We write about suicide and car crashes and heavy things that mm, we've been exposed to or traumatized by or or stuff like that. So it's all kind of real. And then when you get to get feedback from listeners and they go, man, that song just touched me so much and it saved me from a really dark space and stuff like that. That's the payoff for us. The best feeling at all of all. I don't know, just being able to just keep making music and relate to people, and we try not to get too big for our own boots, and it's for us, we really enjoy meeting the people at our shows, and especially this one we did on the weekend in a mall here. So there was like lots of kids, and it's just such a great experience. And kids just love music. If they don't like it, they'll walk off or they'll let you know.
Exactly.
So when they're sitting there transfixed by a band, it's a great feeling. It really
Was
is.
that
So
your big EP release?
yeah. So we played outside a record store in Hamilton here, and yeah, it got pretty crazy. There's a lot of people there. It was a heap of fun.
So I know Barracuda is the main song on it, but what are some of the other songs on your EP?
Okay, so it's not an album, it's an EP. I think our albums have tended to be a bit more conceptual,
Mhm.
but we had a couple of songs we'd recorded and a couple that we wanted to record, and we thought let's just sort of draw a line, in the sand after this period. So let's get these songs out now as an EP, and let's give, to celebrate 10 years since our first album. we decided to put two covers on it that we were playing back at the time, one being Barracuda and the other being Dio's Holy Diver.
Ooh.
So yeah, we've recorded those two, and we've put in one song that was right there in our very first jam, but we've never managed to get it on an album yet. The demos just haven't quite been up to scratch, but it's a song we've always played, an original that we've had for years. So it's called the Whale Song, and it's about 7 minutes long. So of course, when we're making albums, we're thinking, oh man, we could probably put two songs in if we just drop that one out. So we managed to just get the time to put these songs that we really wanted to put out. We've got a couple of new ones in there, and Insects and Let Me Breathe. And we've got a song called Unborn, which I think's the most special track on the EP for me. It's Niall wrote the music when his wife was pregnant with their daughter, and
Oh,
so he'd play this real sweet guitar motif to her in utero, and he asked me to write some lyrics for it, and yeah, I just put together something from the perspective of the child. And yeah, it just grew into this amazing song, and I absolutely think it's our vocalist Jenny's best performance yet on, that we've recorded. Everything just fell into place and felt really special, and it's another goosebump moment for me. It's a great feeling.
definitely. I mean, it's amazing how powerful and compelling her voice is. I mean, it's amazing how she captivates an audience, and she
She
kind of
does.
starts with a whisper and then she's able to take it into a roar. I mean, it is just, well, you get to be with
Yeah,
her.
well,
Yeah.
so Niall and myself, being he's on guitar and I'm on bass, we're at the front. When Jenny, she's singing these beautiful melodies that you'll be humming all day. She's just got this exquisite voice, and then she can growl like the best death metaler out there. And it got to the stage where people would come up and say, "Oh, you and Niall sounded great for that growling bit." And we're like, "Hey, no, we wish, but that's all Jenny." So we make sure we're back from the mics now, and we see people once they watch her and see this humongous sound come out of this tiny little frame, their jaws drop, and it's a really cool, really cool spectacle. Just yeah, people just freak out on her because she's so bloody good.
Definitely. And hopefully we can get some more top secret information from you today. We want to know any chance or when you would be happening that you're going to be touring the States. We want to see
Oh,
you live.
you know what? We're hearing this multiple times a week, every week now. I've been
Mhm.
sending out copies of our new record. I think I've sent out something like 30 to the US. I think 6 in Tennessee just lately. So we know there's a really cool audience for us over there. And that's definitely the top of our priority list. The whole band wants to go to America. We actually got as far as Hollywood in uh 2017, I think, and did two shows there. One being the Whiskey A Go Go, which was
Oh,
just
yeah, nice place.
woo, bucket list stuff for us. So,
Hmm.
yeah, we were playing with Tracy Guns. It was a great night, and yeah, we just absolutely fell in love with America. I've been there a couple of times, and I love the place. I can't wait to get back there with the band. So, it is quite daunting, the whole getting a work visa from
I
being
can
in New
imagine.
Zealand to get over there. It's not easy, but that's the only reason we haven't been there a lot before now. But we know it's time. We've got to get
Definitely.
there.
Well,
Yeah.
Paul, it has been a pleasure having you on the show. I'm guessing your
Thank you so much.
website's develskin.com.
Yeah, develskin.co.nz.
Okay, excellent. Oh, yeah, because of the international. Yeah,
Yeah.
and but it has been a pleasure having you on. We
Thank
definitely
you
want to
so
have you
much.
back on the show when we have more time to talk and go into more detail. There's so many great things that I want to know more about your band. I
Thank you.
really think it's cool that like the father-son aspect of it. I mean, it must be amazing seeing how he has grown and evolved as
Oh,
a young man.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he was 15 when I basically press ganged him into the band. Our old drummer had to have an operation, and I'd booked a tour, and I said to 15-year-old Nick, "Hey, can you help us out in this tour?" And he's like, "Ah, no, he'd never really played the band ever." So I said, "Well, it's like that or you're grounded." So and we just never looked back. And watching him grow, he's a big part of the songwriting process, and he's really big on the artwork and producing, and he's a massive part of it. And he's a multi-instrumentalist, which astounds me. He's awesome.
That is
So couldn't
awesome
be
to hear.
prouder, and it's a lot of fun. We all get on so well. We've got this great dynamic between, the four of us, and it feels really good. So
Nice. Hey, it didn't quit. I'm not complaining, but I'm
still here.
surprised because Zoom usually just like at the moment it goes bam and cuts it off. I had the funk band the other day, Zap on, and they were
Oh wow.
awesome, but they
Right.
shoot shoot the stuff for like a good 15 minutes, 20 minutes before the actual interview started. So we didn't get to even get into too
Oh
much stuff with them because they were too busy riffing about just random things. I mean, it was
yeah,
fun, but yeah, shoot. And then they cut off on them. So I was worried it was going to do that, but for some reason it's not doing that. I
it
ain't
was still
complaining.
here.
So I
Could
get
be
to
the
ask
time
you more
difference.
questions.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. So we talked about Jenny, just how you met her through the radio station, how her music with Slip Tongue or Slipping Tongues. It's just really kind of a cool story that you were able to, you know, form that friendship, and then, like
Yeah.
you said, she ended up becoming part of the family.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy because yeah, because Nick was too young at the time, but Jenny, Nail, and myself were in three different bands. I was playing in World War Four. Nail was with a band called Chuggernaut, and Jenny was with Slipping Tongue. So every now and then we'd be doing the same shows together, and we'd catch up, and we were all big fans of each other's music. So, when Slipping Tongue fell over, I was like, Jenny, what are you doing? Let's make some noise. And yeah, I'm so glad that she said yes. Yeah.
Definitely. And then you mentioned earlier that Nick hadn't been in a band prior to joining
No, he hadn't.
Develskin,
No.
but didn't he get to perform a couple times with you with World War
Oh
Four?
yes, with World War Four. So we played. We used to have a big festival over here called the Big Day Out, and it's a big yearly international music festival sort of thing. And my band World War Four was playing, and I really wanted Nick to be a part of it. So I wrote the song with an extra drum, sort of big tribal drum beat, and yeah, took him with us, and he performed on stage alongside us for a couple of songs, and made him the youngest ever artist to ever play the Big Day Out at
Nice.
13. But he was still green, and when I
Yeah.
when I pushed him into joining Develskin, he'd never set up a drum kit. We had one set up at home, and he just jumped on it. It was naturally good,
Oh,
like
cool.
it's freakishly good. It's bizarre. And he does it with guitar too. It's frightening, but he hadn't taken one to pieces and had to set one up and stuff like that. So he's super green in the early days, but he's really come such a long way. He's
Yeah, I
gotten a
understand with your creative process, he creates more of the music, and then you and Jenny create more of the lyrics, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll take a big part of the music, I guess. Jenny, yeah, focuses on the lyrics. I guess we're probably 50-50 with my lyrics and Jenny's lyrics. But yeah, Nick can come up to us with a complete demo, and he's played this amazing guitar lines, bass lines, drums, everything but the vocals down. And it's like, whoa. So yeah, he's good. He's got another band called Seas of Conflict, and they've done
Ooh,
a few videos, and they're quite a bit heavier. But yeah, great band. And he sort of produces a lot of that stuff as well.
oh wow. So it sounds like he's wearing a lot of hats.
He's on, man. He's on. Yeah.
And then I don't want to leave Nails out. His tell about his searing guitar, how tell about his high energy, his intensity, and how it really makes Devil's Skin show feel the way that it does.
Yeah, he's full of energy, man. He's like a little hand grenade. Great guitarist. He loves Pantera, he loves Zach, he's got a big, healthy respect for all the main rock players, Zeppelin and everything like that. He's just got an endorsement deal with Gibson Guitars.
Ooh, nice.
So he's got this primo twin neck SG Gibson that's just gorgeous. And yeah, he plays through Marshalls, and I absolutely love his sound. And because I've played guitar for most of my life in bands, swapping to bass for this. So like when we got together, the concept was I was going to be the guitarist, and I said, okay, well I'll just fill in on bass for our first jam because I had a bass and just plugged into my guitar gear with it, and everything just felt so right. And here I am, 14 years later, still on bass guitar. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, like now he's an absolute riff machine. He's a real pleasure to be around, to work with. He's represented New Zealand in wrestling for years and years
Ooh.
and years. Yeah, yeah, we don't give him too much stick, but yeah, he's got medals coming out as wazoo that he's won in wrestling compared to.
So Olympic type wrestling, not
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
not yeah, yeah, more than WWE. It's
Exactly,
Olympic.
because when you said wrestling, I'm like, you guys are New Zealand. I have to talk about the Bushwhackers.
Yeah,
I've been
hey.
struggling from to not bring that up. They're nice guys. We had them on one of my other shows in the past.
Oh
Really
wow.
good blokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
What
fun.
performers, man. Oh, they were just yeah, just amazing to watch.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I was into that wrestling, as a kid, watched those guys growing up, and they were just so Kiwi, and it was like
Hmm.
everyone knew someone that was just like the Bushwhackers if we weren't ourselves, you know what I mean? So
Exactly. But yeah, it was just so much fun, and they just were so great with the crowd, just like you guys are really great with your audience to be able to get them so hyped up and so into the music and into the show.
Oh, it's a mutual respect thing, I think, and the fact is, we're music fans. I'm the guy. I'll go to every concert I can, and if I don't come home with a guitar pick or a drumstick or something, I'm pissed off. So I've got this magic collection of guitar picks. Everyone from Glenn Campbell to Tony Iommi,
Ooh.
and so what I'm saying is, we're big music fans. We're massive music fans ourselves, so we can relate to the people, and we feel very privileged that they feel like that about our music the same way that we feel about our heroes and stuff. So, it's just a big karma circle, and we keep on meeting, our heroes. We've got to tour with Slash before, and Hailstorm. We've been around Europe with
Oh,
Hailstorm.
they're awesome. Yeah.
Yes, so good. Lovely, lovely people. And that's it, half the joy of being in a band is getting to meet all these wonderful people, whether they're other musicians you're sharing a stage with, or people in your crowd that take the time to come up and say, hey man, your song lifted me up when I was down, or I've got your lyrics tattooed on my arm or something like this. So
Nice.
it's a fantastic place to be in. And I can't imagine myself doing anything else. So
You'd mentioned, that your idols and you got to interact with them. I understand this is also inspired by one of your idols, Dimebag
Oh,
Daryl.
of course, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, when Dime passed away, you know, half of New Zealand, all the Bogans, all the Metlers dyed their beards red. It was just a sign of respect, and um, because it's such a huge tragedy, I guess, and it kind of stuck. And then when we got together, we had this gorgeous blonde singer, and Nail and myself, who looked like two bloody bald gargoyles with red beards on either side of it, and we suddenly realized we actually had a video um director come up to us, and it was funny because I just watched that movie Borat, right?
Uh-huh.
And this guy comes up and he's Bulgarian, so he's very similar accent. I want to make the video for your band. I like the way you look like this. Okay, very nice. Thinking he was just taking but he ended up actual Bulgarian, and yeah, he convinced us that you guys have this look, so keep that look, and we made a video for a song called Little Pills, with this guy Dimmy, and we love it. It's probably one of our favorite vids. It's
Oh,
probably our
it's a
first
great
one.
video. Yeah, actually, that was the next one I was going to ask you about. I mean, it's got a really nice modern rock video to it at points, but then it also has that weird silent film error kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
thing to it. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, we had no budget. We
Hmm.
had no management or anything at that stage. No support anywhere. And in New Zealand, if you play hard rock, heavy rock, metal, you don't get a lot of assistance from the industry. So everything was pretty much done ourselves, and it was real home backyard sort of video filming, and we knew what look we wanted, and we
Hmm.
just went ahead and did it all ourselves. And like I say, this director Dimmy had seen us play, and he just loved all our ideas, and just put it all together. And just yeah, there's a bit of humor in it, and just a good song and a banging video. It's got flames and it's got devils in it.
Exactly. It's pretty intense. And then from there on, you went to do We Rise, and that debuted at #1 and
Yeah.
dominated the national chart for a long time there. Did the success of that inspire the DVD and CD of Live at Power Station?
Yeah, it definitely did. Like, yeah, we went on tour. I think we did like a 19-date tour for the album, and it was like we're in the first weekend of it, when way down the bottom of the South Island in the snow. And when we found out that it had gone to number one, debuted at number one, and we just couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it. And we played all these tiny little bars and venues. We're still sort of trying to get our name out there. and the crowds just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Nice.
So it was crazy. I think after 2 weeks it went gold, and oh, we were just sitting here going, wow, what have we done here? This is so cool. And again, it felt organic because we didn't have a big label pushing us.
Hmm.
You know, the radio stations were getting the message from our audience that they had to play our songs. And so it just felt really good. And yeah, it just everything continued to build. We ended up, we were released live at the Power Station on CD and DVD. We opened up for Disturbed and had a
Nice.
really cool night with them. Yeah, that was brilliant. Huge crowd and lovely, lovely people Disturbed. In fact, they came back to New Zealand just recently, a few months ago, and invited Jenny to get up and sing the Nancy Wilson parts of their new single.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, that was way cool. Yeah.
Nice. And then from there, you went on to Be Like the River. Both those two, We Rise and Be Like the River spent time at number one.
Yeah.
One went platinum, the other went gold. I mean, it must have felt great just seeing how the success kept building.
It was insane. And, like you say, I come from a couple of different parts of the industry, like being on the radio. I was also working in retail for a long time, music retail and playing in bands. So I got this unique perspective from three sides of it. And I was just in disbelief how we were just growing exponentially without playing the game that everyone sort of has to play to get noticed by the industry over here. So we were just being ourselves, and it just kind of happened. Um, we weren't afraid of hard work, and we're still not. We've
Hmm.
been to Europe 5 times now. We
Nice.
would have been six, but I think we were 10 days away from flying out for our longest, when our first headlining tour of Europe, when COVID hit. So we'd just been through
Exactly.
the year before with Slipknot as main support and soul support. And we did, I
So
think,
cool.
18 different countries through Europe with them. And it was just phenomenal. We had the best time. So, we were so looking forward to getting back there. But of course, COVID came and boof, it was the end of that.
Exactly. And that
And we
messed
had
with
to,
Red.
yeah, so we had to release our album in the middle of that. And our government was saying you can't send post out, you can't send letters or parcels in the post because people get COVID off it.
Yeah.
So we could release our album digitally, but not physically. And the rock audience, they love their physical copies. They want vinyl and they want CDs and stuff. So
Exactly.
yeah, it was a really bad time to be in a band, I guess, and no bands had a good time during that period. But yeah, it really took the wind out of our sails for that release because we were so proud of that album, and we're just really excited to be able to tour it first in Europe and then come back to New Zealand. But
Well, the
so
fans will be at least happy because now they got that new EP. What is the name of the new EP?
surfacing, it's called
Surfacing.
Surfacing.
Excellent.
So the first 10 years since We Rise, and now this is surfacing. We've pulled some mysteries up from the depths, some of our covers and songs that we hadn't released before, and then the next thing after this is going to be another album. So yeah,
It
we're
really
excited.
it really feels like with Barracuda though, it feels like it's more than just a song. Because like you said, you've done it, you've covered it before for years. It kind of feels more like a tribute or a thank you to your audience and all the people that have supported you. It,
100%. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I mean, we were playing, we messed around with a few covers when we were just starting out, just so that we could go out and we had enough material to play. So we were doing, I think we did Heartbreaker by Pat Benatar
mhm.
once or twice. We did uh, Somebody to Love. And what else did we used to do? Of course, Holy Diver and Barracuda.
Nice.
And yeah, those songs are just special songs, those two, and they kind of stuck with us, and we just pull them out every now and then. And now, 10 years on, we want to recreate that experience for our listeners again. So we're going on the road. We're going to play the album in its entirety, and they've also got the two recordings now, the two covers, Holy Diver and Barracuda,
Mhm.
to go with it. But those songs they feel like special songs. I mean, I got blown away the very first time I heard Barracuda, so I must have been pretty young. And it's one of those songs that you're magnetic with it. Every time you hear it, you're drawn to it. So yeah, it's great to be able to record it.
I
brilliant.
just really am impressed how you're able to do it and pay homage to it, but still inject your signature intensity and passion, into the song Barracuda.
Um, it's a big song. It's a really big song, and there's some songs, you can cover and you can sort of get away with a bit of poetic license and change them a bit, but there's some songs that you just can't mess with that formula because that
Hmm.
formula is what made it special. And the reason we picked it up in the first place is because Jenny sang it so well, and not many people around New Zealand could pull it off. And it's just a fun song, got the audience engaged, and we just felt powerful playing it. So to get to record it, we thought, hey, yeah, heck, why not? Let's just do it and see how it comes out. And yeah, we were absolutely, blown away with the recording. And we wanted to keep, Heart are heroes of ours, and we wanted to keep them happy, if you like, to keep the integrity of their song as close to what they wanted as we could, while still playing it ourselves, obviously, with our own sounds and just injecting a little bit of our own touches here and there. But it's not a song we wanted to mess with too much. We just want it's
Definitely.
more, and it was a big thank you to our fans, for sticking by us all this time because it's just a nice little tribute sort of thing.
That is awesome. One of the things I want to have you do is before we let you go is, give some advice to that next generation. Because like you said, you've been on so many sides of the music industry and you've learned so much from it. What is something that you would tell like someone who's just starting out now?
Um, I'd say go with your gut feeling, follow your heart with music, like I never had a plan B growing up. I never, I've dabbled in day jobs and stuff, but I never actually had a plan B because my plan A was just I just want to write songs
Hmm.
and make music. So I've been very fortunate to be surrounded by the right people at the right times to be able to do that. But yeah, my advice, just do it, stick to your guns. Be yourself, be authentic, and if you're passionate about it, people know that. And this sort of thing you can't fake passion, and people will see right through it straight away. So if you genuinely love it, then just keep going, stick to your guns, and just be nice to everyone on your way because it's a revolving
Exactly.
industry, and you can't be a dick,
Yep.
and the thing is with us, I mean, for example, we did two shows when Slash first, uh, when it's probably a second tour of New Zealand, but
Mhm.
our first with him, we played here in Hamilton and then in Wellington. And his front of house guy, who was also tour manager, who's
Mhm.
been with Slash since Snake Pit days,
Yeah.
really lovely guy called Quake, and he fell over sick at the
Oh,
sound check. So they had to get
yeah.
another sound tech in to mix Slash, and like they're all freaking out because he's also tour manager. We all flew to Wellington the next day and they're going, well, Quake's still in Waikato Hospital. He's really sick.
Yeah.
It turns out he had blood poisoning.
Oh,
But,
sheesh.
and they're like, well, we've got to go to Australia and then Japan, and we've still got his bags and everything. So we went, hey, we'll take his bags. It's in our town. We'll go up and keep him company. We'll go and see
Yeah.
him and take him grapes and some magazines and
Yeah.
and they were really grateful, and we got to hang out with this amazing guy Quake, and he was really
Cool.
great. He's like, I'm a stranger in a strange land, man. You guys have taken the time out to make sure I'm looked after and okay. And he was like 10 days in hospital. He was pretty
Oh,
ill
sheesh.
before he
Yeah,
could
that's
fly. He didn't meet up with the band till they got to Japan, I think. But we've kept in touch, and he's just a lovely guy, and that's why when they came back to New Zealand, they invited us to open again
yeah.
and took us to Australia to open the Aussie shows, just because we were nice guys, we weren't dicks about anything,
That's
and
awesome. When
it's
being
all
go,
karma,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. It all comes back around. I was
yeah,
gonna say, yeah, and it was worth it. I mean, even if that stuff didn't happen, just doing the right thing, and it sounds like you guys are the
yeah.
types that do that. Well,
And with Hailstorm, we brought them over here because they hadn't been to New Zealand, weren't selling big rooms or anything. So we brought them over here, and they opened for us on a tour. Then we went to Australia and opened for them. We got on so well that they invite us to go to Europe with them. So
nice,
again, just don't be a dick, and enjoy your time, and just be nice to everyone and enjoy yourself in music,
excellent.
and that will carry you through.
So, what social media, what website, what should we know about Develskin
Okay.
before we let you go?
Yeah, so Devilskin, one word. You can find us on YouTube. We've got I think about 8 videos now. Our Facebook page is pretty busy. Devilskin, one word, or Devilskin NZ. Sorry. We're also on Instagram, and our website is develskin.co.nz. So yeah, we'd love to hear more from our American friends. We just got a message actually. Some friends have started a street team, American street team
Oh,
for us. So
cool.
they're putting the pressure on to get us over there, man. So believe me, we're working on it. We really are.
Sounds great. Well, we look forward to that. Paul, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.